Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Kerrville Weekly News Roundup, brought to you by the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. We are the founders of the network and your hosts for today's show, Andrew Gay and Tom Fox here in the studio. Hope you're doing just fine on this Friday afternoon. So let's jump right to it. Tom, you want to kick us off as always? What you got for us this week?
First of all, we have great weather today, great weather this weekend. So I hope you'll take the opportunity to get outside. It's either in the low 90s or the high 80s. And as I told my wife, it's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool. Boom.
Yeah. But on that note, I want to actually take things a little bit different direction today, Andrew, because we've got an incredibly vibrant art scene in Kerrville, and it's every facet of art. And so I want to highlight two, and I know you're going to highlight one or more, but I want to talk about Shriner University is putting on Hamlet this weekend. And if you've never seen Hamlet, treat yourself and go see it. But I was thinking about, arguably the greatest playwright in the history of the world ever, and 1,000 or 1,500 student universities putting on their play. And that just shows just the universality of Shakespeare, that he can be on Broadway, he can be in the West End of London, and he can be in Kerrville. And it's just as powerful. And I have seen some of the classic plays of all time in little community theaters, and they're just as powerful. And it goes to show that, I don't want to demean actors, but you don't have to have a Broadway actor. You can have a Tom or an Andrew or a somebody.
That's right.
And the message of the play, the words are so great. So shout out to theater in the world of arts, and shout out to Shriner University. My second shout out is also to Shriner University. And on Monday night of next week, they're going to have the new season of the Fiction Book Club. They have an annual or a monthly fiction book club. It's going to be held at the Shriner Library. So if your art form is fiction books, check out the Shriner University Fiction Book Club. It's the last Monday of each month. Obviously, we have a great library here in Kerrville. And let me just shout out to that, because tomorrow, Saturday, the library is having a full day presentation on publishing. And Louis Amstoy and I, another of our fellow co-founders of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network, we're doing a presentation on, Louis is going to tackle local news, and I'm going to talk about starting a podcast. So if you're ever wanted to know about how to start a podcast, I'm going to talk about that. But come down, and there's several published authors who are going to talk about their journey. Kudos to the local library for putting that on. So once again, a vibrant art scene in the written and spoken word in Kerrville.
Very nice. If you had to start your own fictional book club, Tom, and you had a first go at what book to pick for the first round, what would you pick?
The Great Gatsby.
Great answer. Didn't even hesitate. That's nice. I was just curious. It's good stuff, man. Did you see the movie?
Which one?
The latest movie with Leo.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think? 1 to 10.
3, 4.
Okay. You weren't that impressed.
They changed the story.
Yeah. Okay.
And
you didn't like that if you're a fan of the book.
Of the book,
yeah.
Or of Robert Redford and Barbara Streisand version.
Yeah. Sure.
The book ending, which is and was much better, and they changed that, and so I thought it lost a lot of its power.
Good comments, Tom. Thank you, sir, for kicking us off. For my stories, I only got 2 quick mentions for us. One is related to the arts. We have such a rich weekend scheduled with the arts. This is the Texas State Arts and Crafts Fair, which is held at the Hill Country Arts Foundation. So shout out to them. They'll be hosting that. It's September 23rd and 24th. So I think Saturday and Sunday you get a chance to go check it out. It's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. out there in the Hill Country Arts Foundation grounds. That's where the Stonehenge replica is. If you haven't been out there to check it out, it's a great property. It's beautiful. It sits right alongside the Guadalupe River, and this is going to feature artists from all over Texas.
Andrew, it's not a replica.
It's It's the real thing.
It's the real thing.
I was wondering why I felt strange energy every time I go out there,
There you
but
go.
that explains it. So yeah, and actually the hours are Saturday 10 to 5, Sundays 10 to 4. So my wife and I and some family are going to be out there this weekend. So we're looking forward to that. And then my second mention was there was a flag that was put up here in Kerrville over this past week, in the last couple of days, and it was either yesterday or the day before, and it wasn't an American flag, it was a pride flag. So it caused a bunch of hubbub on social media. Our fellow founding member Louis Amstoy posted some stuff on it, but one of the things I wanted to mention about it was what he saw, because he has a fairly decent following to kind of gauge some of this stuff. But what he mentioned was that overwhelmingly positive response from majority of the people. There were a few haters here and there, but I thought that was nice to hear that, you're always going to have people that disagree or want to hate for whatever reason, but it was overwhelmingly positive. So you have any comments about that? We can actually see it from where we're at on this side of town, but
I would just say it gives me a way to talk about, if you don't subscribe to the Lead, you should. And it is a daily news show on Facebook, but also a great written content as well. And that's where I read the same article about Lewis's experience with the comments. I think he had over, I want to say 30,000 people either like, dislike, or comment. And that's a huge amount of commentary. And I think it shows exactly what you said. There's a lot of toleration in our community. You may not be gay, but it doesn't mean you're not going to be tolerant. And right. I was very, very heartened by that. You're right. There were some haters, some of the well-known usual suspects, but overwhelmingly the majority was, hey, let's just tolerate this. You can do whatever you want in Kerrville. We're not going to bother you if you don't bother us.
That's right. As long as you're not harming other people, go for it, man. Okay, guys, I think that'll do it for us today. You got anything planned for the weekend, Tom?
Actually, this weekend is the Kerrville Triathlon, and I'm a volunteer through the Rotary Club, and I'm going to help pass out packets for contestants. If you've never seen a triathlon, I've never run a triathlon, but I have been a worker at triathlons and been athlete support. So I always enjoy it, and it'll be a lot of fun. And I'm interested to see who comes to Kerrville to run, bike, and swim in the triathlon.
Well, those athlete support for those events are definitely needed, because those aren't. It's not a 5K. It's not even a 10K. It's a long ordeal. And also watch out for traffic, because it's like clockwork every single year. I think there's at least one time where I forget and I take the exit out of our neighborhood onto 173 and immediately regret it, because they have the traffic cones and all that stuff blocked off for the riders and runners. So anyway, okay, that'll do it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, interact with us, share our content, helps other people find our show. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. We will catch you back here next week. Have a good one.